morning, good 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 morning. Look at all the saints. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining the call this morning. Wow, 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 wow. Miss Pat, I love that jacket, young lady. I love it. I love it. I love it. Miss Belinda, good morning. Good morning. Miss Joyce Brewer, good morning. Wow, let's see here. We got on the call here. Wow, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Miss Caroline Baker. Good morning, Miss Christina. Good morning, Miss Pat and Frank up Bowman up in El Grove, California. Good morning. Let's head south to San Diego to Marie. Hello, Marie. Let's head over to Florida to see Sensational. There she is. Good morning, young lady. All right. Let's head over to Las Vegas. My dear friend, Mr. Brian Baker's on the call today. Went sideways here. Went sideways. Hold on, everybody. Lost. There we go. And from Mr. Baker, we got Regional Director in San Diego, Mr. Julian Lewis. Good morning, sir. Tomorrow is his big day. All right. Mr. Payon, we'd love to see you out there in Japan. Good evening out there. Thank you so much for joining the call. Mr. Ed, go see Ed, everybody. Mr. Ed Navarro, good morning, sir. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I understand your mom was 92 years old over the weekend. Thank you, thank you. Missed you on Sunday, Friday, Saturday morning for breakfast. But anyway, Miss Angelina, we missed you too down in Fresno. Thank you. Mr. Del Rancho, good morning, good morning. Miss Jones from Crew out in South Carolina. That lady's always on the call. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Oh, what happened here? Hold on. There we go. All right. Who else we got on the call here? Miss Kimberly Garcia, good morning. Mr. Lance Kelly, good morning, sir. Mr. Marvin Carter, Regional Director out of Fresno. Thank you so much for joining the call, sir. It was good spending some time with you. Mr. Bill Bailey, good morning, sir. How are you doing down there? Down there? All right. Mr. Freddie Sherman, good morning. Miss Natalie Pereira in Las Vegas, good morning. Who else we have? Mr. Jeffrey Sweeney. Hey, sir, it was a pleasure spending time with you, meeting you and your, what happened here? Hold on, everybody. All these people jumping. It was a pleasure meeting you and having breakfast with you and your lovely wife and breaking bread on Saturday morning before I left Fresno. Thank you so much. And you're going to do great in this business. Just get qualified and keep on stepping. There you go. Miss T. Hayes, good morning, dear. Good seeing you. Miss Zoe Duffy, part of the bakery organization. I already said that. Miss Eileen, there in San Diego. Mr. Winston Herbert, good morning. Miss Melissa Vaughn, good morning. Miss Tracy Gilmore, part of the bakery organization. Good morning, dear. Mr. Al Randolph is on time today. Hey, sir. Good morning out of Oakland. Did I already say, let's see. Oh, regional director, regional vice president, Miss Jocelyn Driscoll. Wow. Good morning, dear. Thank you so much for joining the call today. I know Miss Ismail is excited. Miss Luana Pinedo, good morning, dear. Mr. Colin Muhammad, good morning, sir. Wow. And all the others I didn't get a chance to say hello to. I didn't get, out of time on my timing here. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday. It's a new week. Have you noticed the 15th of the month has just shot by us? Yeah, shot by us. Today is Monday, a brand new week. We got less than 2 weeks to go, and this month is gone. We're less than 45 days for the year being gone. I want that to sink in for a second. You blink, we're in January, and blinked again, we're in March. We blinked again in April, we didn't know what happened, and now we blinked again, summer was here, we blinked again, and we just shot by Halloween, and then we're sliding right into Thanksgiving. What a year, what a year, what a year. Well, listen, we're excited about this young lady who's going to be doing our call today. She's down for every Monday in the month of November. Spent some time with her and her husband on Friday night after we got finished with the leadership, and we did a live broadcast from the King's house. That was very powerful. We had a great time. Mr. King, once again, sir, thank you so much for that beautiful barbecue ribs you put together and that homemade ice cream. Oh my God, I am still excited. Now, this young lady afterwards went to her house, and her and her husband and I, we set up to about midnight, the three of us talking and chatting, because see, leadership is about pouring your heart out and being transparent to people and exactly what they need to do to get to their next step in their business. And this young lady is just a sponge. I mean, she is just a sponge. Fell in love with her the first time I met her and her husband here in Las Vegas Boulevard at Starbucks. They were down here for the weekend from Fresno, and we spent some time. Actually, we spent 2.5 hours together. Yeah, so they're short, but it was that much love, and I can't tell you much. I can't say enough about this young lady. I got a chance to see my two little nephews, two fur babies, and eventually they'll get their business going where they'll be working on the two-feeded babies. So without further ado, they flip gas stations. I can go on and on about her, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And for those that don't, I'd like to introduce you to a superstar, an up-and-coming senior vice president, the one and only Mrs. Natasha Ismail from Fresno, California. Let's give her a hand, everybody. Come on. Yeah. There you go, Mr. Dale Ransom. Love it, love it, love it. Good morning, dear.
Good morning.
There you are.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Mr. Thomas. Good morning. I love that coat.
Good morning.
I've told you that before. He looks totally zenned out. Can everybody just look? Just look. That's goals. Okay. But anyway, so good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Thomas, for allowing me to speak on the call today. I'm super, super excited. I couldn't really sleep last night or the night before, pretty much since you were here. And, you know, once we talked and everything, and my mind has been like, and it just hasn't come back yet. So I want to tell everybody a little bit about myself for those of you that don't know me. So before we started this business, I was a full-time student and I was working 2 jobs. Full-time student and I was working 2 jobs. I was working on my master's because my bachelor's, they weren't paying me enough when I came out to find a job. So I said, you know what, let me just go and get another one, right? So when I got the other one, guess what? They gave me $2.50 or something on top for the same job. And I was like, no, this is not okay. I know I'm worth more, way more than like minimum wage, right? So we were at the point, my husband flipping commercial properties. So he's a traditional business owner. Now I want everybody to catch what I said. He's a traditional business owner, but I was a full-time student working 2 jobs. So never prejudge someone because you don't know their financial situation. Just because everything looks good on the outside doesn't mean that it's okay on the inside. And we know that. We know not to judge a book by its cover or anything like that. So we were at the point where even an extra $500 would have completely helped us with everything. Just would have changed everything. Just $500. That's all we're talking about. So when my friend came to me and said, hey, we need to talk, and showed us this, we were like, oh my God, this makes so much sense, right? This makes so much sense. But even besides the money, I want everyone to look at what this industry does for us. So what it gave me was a brand new family. There were strangers that turned into families. So I don't know how many of you guys can relate on that. You saw people crying the other day, talking to Mr. Thomas and just how they felt when he was here. And they were all strangers. They were all strangers and they became a family. My confidence went up. I started doing personal development a lot more than I was doing before I even knew it was called personal development. Okay, let's put it that way. So I want to thank Mr. Thomas for doing everything, because think about it. If he would have decided to give up, if he would have given up, none of us would be here right now. None of us. We would not know each other. We would not be friends. We would not be family. We wouldn't be anything. So I want everyone to just give Mr. Thomas just a round of applause just one more time, because he is the best. And I don't think I'm ever going to be able to thank him enough because of the way that he's expanded our minds on everything. So we've talked before about fear. We've talked before about faith and what really stops us from going after it. Fear. Fear really stops us from going after what it is that we want in our life. So now I want everyone to think about, what is it that you need to take action? So if we know that fear is what holds us back, what is it that you need to take action? Drop it in the chat. Drop whatever you think it is. What do you need to start taking action if fear is what holds you back? What do you need to start taking action? I see Mr. Lewis going crazy. Y'all better drop it in the chat before he does. Confidence. Yes, Mr. Sam Foster, you need confidence. So now I want to give you the definition of confidence, because courage, look, those are the 2 things I'm talking about. So you guys get a gold star for today. Okay, let me tell you the definition of courage first. Okay. Definition of courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. Courage is the ability to do something that frightens one. So doing it even though you're scared. Okay. Now the definition of confidence, the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. In other words, firm trust. So confidence is the feeling or belief that one can rely on someone or something. Having a firm trust, a firm belief, okay? Everybody got it? Nod your head. All right, we got it. So I want you to think about it. How important is self-confidence to you? Thank you, Mr. Tim. Give me a thumbs up. He's working and gave me a thumbs up. That's a gold star for you too. So think about how important is self-confidence. And what are the things that we don't do that we're most afraid of? So it could be making that phone call, reaching out to that person, sending that extra text message, asking someone for anything. So what are the things that we're not doing because we're afraid? What are the things that are holding you back from going out and really getting what you want in life because of the fear that you have? So if you have something that just popped into your head, write it down. What are the things that you're most afraid to do that you won't do on a daily basis that if you did them, it would get you closer to where you need to go? So write that down for yourself. Now, as entrepreneurs, let me give everybody a tip. I heard this the other day and I was like, oh my God, this is so true. As an entrepreneur, you need to do what scares you most first. So let's say you wake up and you have all this either confidence or either you might be a little low on confidence. Okay. But you know that you have a certain amount of things that you need to get done that day. You know that you have to make the phone calls, you have to send the text messages, you have to reach out to the people, you have to do follow-ups, all of those things. Which one of those scares you the most? Is it making the call and actually talking to someone? Because, oh, what if they ask me a question? I don't know how to respond. Oh, bad connection, click. I know somebody's done that before. I don't know who's done it, but somebody's done it. So that's also a part of not having enough confidence, right? Because we're not confident in ourselves enough to know what we're talking about is real. So the thing that scares you the most, that's the thing that you should do first. Now, I want to take everybody back. I'm not going to say way back. I don't want to age myself or anything because we're all young on this call, right? So I want to take everybody back to when I was in elementary school. Now, I remember on the first day of school, I'd be so excited. Like, think about 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. You'd be so excited for the first day of school. I would never be able to sleep. It's just been my thing forever. So I don't care if it was elementary, middle school, high school, college, university, anything. If it's my first day, I can't sleep the night before. Ms. Batista shaking her head. She probably has similar experience, but I just couldn't sleep. So I'd be so excited. And, my mom would iron my clothes, have them all ready for the next day. And I remember waking up that morning, I'd be so excited after I would take a little nap. I'd be so excited. And I'd put on my, put on my shirt, put on my pants, and put on my shoes. And then I'd go to school. And at school, a lot of the kids had name brand clothing. So I don't know who's going to relate to the story, but if you do, just drop it in the chat. I would walk in with my Payless shoes. And if you don't know what Payless is, you're too young because they just went out of business like last year. But I'd walk in with my Payless shoes that almost look like Adidas, that almost look like the Nikes, that almost look like the Jordans. You guys know what I'm talking about. They look so similar, but you could still tell that they were from Payless, okay? I'd have my Target branded pants or Walmart, I don't even remember, whichever ones. And I'd have my Target branded shirt. The plain ones, like the stripes that were like 5 for $10 or something. I don't even remember how much they were. 5 for $10, but they'd have like the stripes or they'd just be plain, anything like that. And I remember walking into the classroom and I had virtually no issues with self-confidence at that point because I didn't really know any of the differences between brands and things like that. And I remember being in 5th grade is when I really noticed it. And I remember kids would start making fun of me because I didn't have the logo on my clothing, because I didn't have the name brand shoes that people had. I didn't have the name brand pants, or the name brand backpack. I didn't have the JanSport, so I wasn't cool if I didn't have a JanSport. That went all the way up till high school. If you didn't have a JanSport, you were just not in the in crowd. Mr. Ransom is laughing because he knows exactly what I'm talking about. But that was the first time that my confidence was messed with a little bit, because I started to understand how superficial and how mean kids can be. So I started making up for that with my skills. I started drawing. I started playing music. I started playing sports. I was the only girl, because I was kind of a tomboy after that. I was the only girl that would be like the team captain on basketball teams during recess, because that was a thing, and all of that stuff. But that stuff helped me gain my confidence. So I don't know if there's any athletes on the line, but you can relate. Now, I never forgot how that time made me feel. When I didn't have what everybody else had, I didn't have what everybody else had, and that made me not cool. So they made fun of me for being different. Made fun of me for being different. So remember that. Now, I want you to think back to an experience that you've had and how it made you feel. What experience did you have that totally messed with your confidence? So it could be in elementary school, it could be in high school, it could be in college, it could be in a marriage, it could be with your family. Just something. You don't have to type it in the chat if you don't want to, but just think back and just maybe write it down on the paper. Think back to a time that you felt that your confidence was kind of rocked with, and you were just like, what just happened? What just happened? Think about that time and write it down. Now, if we know that fear is what holds us back and confidence and courage is what gets us to go, what are a couple of things that we can do to raise our confidence? And that's what I'm going to give you guys in a bit. So I want you to think about your day. So everybody think about your day. So what do you do as from the moment you wake up to the moment you lay your head down on the pillow? What do you do all day? Think about it. And what are those things that raise your confidence? And what are the things that brings it down? Number one, if you start out your day scrolling on social media, you've already lost. You've already lost. Point blank, period, end of discussion, mic drop, I don't care, you've already lost. Because you're starting out your day comparing your everyday life to somebody else's highlight. You're already done. So number one, the biggest advice that I can give, do not start your day scrolling on social media. Do not. That's the biggest confidence killer there is. If you want to bring somebody's confidence down, go on social media, watch people's Instagrams. Because if you're not creating the content, you're consuming it. So I want you to think about, are you consuming it or are you creating it? There's only two types of people on social media. Are you a consumer or are you a creator? And if you're the consumer, if you spend hours and hours, people, I know TikTok is interesting, but y'all got to live your life. Okay. You can't just stay like 2 hours just scrolling, watching videos and stuff. I know it's interesting. I know it's fun, but look, think about it. Every time you start scrolling, I really, really, really want you to think about it. Am I being a consumer right now or am I being a creator? Because if you're not creating, you're consuming. Someone else is the creator and you're just consuming it. AKA you're not making money. And I know people want to make money. Everybody wants to make money. So the second thing, if the product is free, you are the product. Hi, Mr. Williams, good morning. If the product is free, you are the product. So remember that. Now, the first thing that you can do other than not scrolling on social media is personal development. So how many of you do personal development? Think to yourself. If you plug into these calls, you're doing personal development. But outside of this, how many of you are reading? How many of you are listening to podcasts? How many of you are listening to YouTube videos? YouTube is like the biggest library that we have today. You can literally look up anything and you'll get like a whole thing. The people, there's like the weirdest things on there, but anyway, I'm not even gonna go there. But Just think about it. So I calculated the other day how much on average I do personal development. It's about 2 hours minimum. Minimum a day, 2 hours. Now, if you even do an extra 20 minutes, times your 20 minutes by the 5 days or 7 days, whatever it is that you do, then times it by the month. You're that much ahead of people that don't do that. You're that much ahead in your thinking than people that don't do that. You're going to be that much ahead in your future than people that didn't do that. So that's tip number one, is you need to do personal development every single day. Number two, self-talk. This is probably one of the biggest things. How do you talk to yourself? Forget other people, because other people can be mean. They're always going to talk. They're always going to have something to say. What do you say to yourself? How do you feel about yourself? How do you feel about your plain t-shirt with no logo on it? How do you feel about your Payless shoes or your Walmart shoes or whatever? Are they comfortable? Okay, then it doesn't matter. You got them from Target. Kudos. It doesn't matter where you get them from. How do you feel? How do you feel? I never saw Steve Jobs wearing a Nike shirt. I never saw Bill Gates wearing Jordans. I never saw Warren Buffett wearing a logo on his shirts, on his suits, on his shoes. He might have really nice shoes though, but he only has like 3 pairs, so it doesn't really matter. But how do you feel about yourself? What do you say to yourself? I asked everybody last week to do an exercise. Drop a yes in the chat if you did that exercise. Did you go to the mirror and say, I love you and I forgive you? And I know, because I got text messages from a couple people that were like, yo, I couldn't stop crying. I started crying and I couldn't stop crying. And guess what? That's exactly what happened to me the first time I did that. Because how often do you tell yourself, I'm so proud of you for being where you're at. I'm so proud of you for getting through all that crap that you went through. I'm so proud of you for how far you've come. I'm so proud of you for starting your own business. You guys are business owners. Do you know how many people want to be business owners and they're not? Just because it's not a physical brick and mortar business doesn't mean it's not a business. And a lot of us don't treat it as a business, which is something we're going to cover later. But how do you talk to yourself? Because that's the most important part. Number 3, who are you listening to? Oh, Kenny, I'm so proud of you. Don't cry. Who are you listening to? Outside influences. Who are your outside influences? What are your outside influences? Are people telling you you can't do it? Are they making fun of your no branded shirt? Are they making fun of your no branded shoes and you're actually listening to them? Do you care? No. Who cares? Who are you listening to? Are you listening to Mr. Thomas? Are you listening to Mr. Driscoll? Are you listening to Mr. Lewis, Mr. Williams, Mr. Dean Trolley? Who are you listening to? And is it positive or negative? Are you still listening to your broke family and friends? Are you taking financial advice from people? Are you taking constructive criticism from someone that's never constructed anything? Think about who's influencing you, good or bad. Number 4, this is a big one, gratitude. If you look at all the successful people in the world, they have gratitude. They are so thankful for what they have right this second, no matter what's going on. Think about it right now. Are you alive? Are you breathing? Then you have something to be thankful for. And if you ever feel like you're comparing your life, or you feel like, you know what, I wish I was like that, or oh my God, look at their car. Oh my God, look at their house. Oh my God, look at this. Oh my God, look at that. Do not compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. You don't know what that person's gone through to get there. You don't know what they had to go through. You don't know if they went through relationship abuse. You don't know if they went through physical abuse, if they went through mental abuse. You don't know what they went through. You don't know what they had to do to get to that chapter 10. How in the world can you look at your chapter? Well, open a book, look at chapter 1. Can you compare that to chapter 10 in a book? No. Do you know how much happens between chapter 1 and 10? But here we are on social media. I've been guilty of it. I'll tell you, social media, you're scrolling on Instagram. Oh my God, they're traveling. Oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, they got a boat. Oh, they got a ship. Oh, they just got a plane. Like, please look at it. Really? Really? The only difference is they went out, had courage, and they did it. They went and got it. You want something? Go get it. Nobody's stopping you but you. Nobody is stopping you but you. And that's the beautiful thing, even about this business, about this industry, about entrepreneurship as a whole. If you want something, you can get it. You just have to have the courage to go do it. You have to have the courage in yourself. You have to have the self-confidence to go do it. And guess what? The confidence comes later. The courage comes first. Because remember, what's the definition of courage? Acting even when you're afraid. The confidence will come, but it's never going to come if you never take action. And the action's not going to come if you don't have the courage to take action in the first place. Now, Mr. Thomas always says something to me. He always says, so please write this down. Don't sweat the small stuff. And guess what? It's all small stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff. And guess what? It's all small stuff. He's even mouthing it right now. Look at it. Look at it. Don't sweat the small stuff, because what? It's all small stuff. Somebody said no to you. Okay, cry me a river. Somebody said this isn't going to work. Somebody said my friend tried it. Somebody said it's one of those things. Somebody said this. Somebody said that. Somebody said this. Who cares? People are going to talk about your unbranded shirt anyway. People are going to talk about your Payless shoes anyway. People are going to talk about your Target corduroy or khaki pants anyway. Are you really going to let other people's opinions mess with you? Mess with your self-worth and your value? How much do you value yourself? I was not going to take this route. A story just came to me, so listen up. I think I have a bill here. Okay, so there was a seminar going on, okay? And this guy stands up in front of the room and he says, this is a fake million. So I'm going to do what he did. He pulled up $100 bill. So pretend I'm pulling out 100, okay? He pulled out $100 bill to the crowd. He showed everyone and he said, who wants this $100 bill? So if I asked you guys, who wants this $100 bill? Who's going to raise their hand? Nobody wants 100? Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so he said, who wants this $100 bill? And all the hands went up. Some people even put 2 hands up, just like we had 2 cell phones, we put 2 hands up. Okay, so then he said, he folded it. I'm not going to fold it, so I'm going to put it down. But he folded it, and then he said, who wants it now? So if I folded it, here, let me do this. If I folded the $100 bill, who would still want it? Raise your hand. Raise your hand if you still want it. Okay, everybody still wants it. Mr. Carter is looking at me because I know he's at work. He can't raise his hand, but he went like this. Okay, so what if I took it and I crumpled it up? Who still wants the 100? Everyone, okay. Everyone still wants the 100. I crumbled it up though. Look at it. Okay, all right. Now pretend, but I would never do this. Pretend I would never do this. But if I threw it on the ground and I stomped on it, and I like crunched it up a little bit more, and then I picked it up again. Who wants it now? And all the hands still went up. So why does everyone still want this $100 bill? Because of its value. You, my friends and family, are a $100 bill. Stop treating yourself like you a little dollar bill that somebody's gonna go use at McDonald's for a McChicken. They're not even $1 anymore. You have value. You are valuable. Why do you treat yourself or let others treat you like you're a dollar bill? Look, you know what this represents? The fold represents the first time that you had a big issue that you felt like you couldn't get through. All of these crumbles are every single problem, every single time that you thought you were not going to make it out of your life alive. You thought you weren't going to make it out of that situation. You thought that something was going to happen that you could not fix. So it got crumpled up. You're still $100 bill. People still want this. They still want it. They still want it. You're still worth 100 just because you got stepped on, just because you got a couple folds, just because you got a couple crumbles and creases and wrinkles doesn't mean that you're not worth 100 anymore. You are valuable. But if you don't value yourself, nobody else is going to value you. People treat you how you treat you. How are you treating you? Think about it right now. How mean are you to yourself? If you heard somebody talking to a baby that was 2 years old, like you talk to yourself, how would you feel? Would you want to go and cuss that person out? Because I'm pretty sure you would. I would. I'd be like, what'd you just say to that kid? No, I'm calling CPS on you, right? Think about it. If you wouldn't let anybody talk to a child the way you talk to yourself, then stop talking to yourself like that. Stop talking to yourself like you're trash. Stop talking to yourself like you're a dollar bill. You are 100. Miss Luann, you are 100. Mr. Collin, Miss Hayes, Mr. Sherman, Mr. Culver, Mr. Carter, Mr. Payon, Miss Sherian, Miss Bernal, Miss Hanson, Mr. Enriquez. I didn't even know your last name before, Ishmael. Miss Baker, Miss Pat, Mr. Tim, Miss Akiko, Mr. Bill, Mr. Julian, Miss Melissa, Miss Joyce, Miss Batiste, Mr. Ransom. You are 100. Stop treating yourself like a dollar bill. Stop being mean to yourself. Stop judging yourself for not having a Nike swoosh on your t-shirt. Stop judging yourself for not having the Adidas stripes on your shoes. You're 100. Drop 100 in the chat right now if you're 100. And if you don't, you're not 100. Just kidding. Drop 100. Drop 100 because you're 100. Bill's laughing at me. You're 100. Now look, let me tell you another story. That just came out. So that was God. That was a wink moment, as Mr. Driscoll would say. God wink. Okay. Now, yes, Mr. Howard. Yes, I love it. So there was a group of frogs. Check that. I love this story. There was a group of frogs hopping along, hop, 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 hop. Okay. And then one of the frogs fell in a hole. It was a super, super deep hole. He fell in the hole. And all of the frogs crowded around and they looked down at the frog and they were like, how do we get him out? How do he fall in there? What do we do? Do we even help him? Do we just leave him there? One of the frogs was like, we should just leave him there because he's not going to get out of there. We should just leave him there. We should leave him. He's not going to get out. What do we do? Okay, we don't even have anything we could throw down there. And they just watched. And the frog that was in the hole looked up at everyone and he's like, are you guys going to get me out of here? Are you guys going to get me out of here? Is somebody coming to save me? Who's going to save me? So he thought for a second and he's like, wait, nobody's going to save me. They don't look like they're going to help me. They don't look like they're trying to save me. They don't look like they're throwing down a rope to me. So he was like, you know what? I'm going to have to jump out of here. I'm going to have to jump out of here. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. But let me try. So he started jumping and jumping and jumping and nothing. And then he started seeing everyone around him up top above the ground saying to stop. Just stop it. You're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. Just stay down. So he got discouraged and he stopped jumping. And he was like, you know what? Is this going to be the rest of my life? Am I just going to stay at the bottom of this hole? And am I just going to die down here? Am I just going to die alone down here? Is this what my life was about? What did I do in my life? And he was like, you know what? I can't go out like this. So he saw everyone yelling and they're like, you won't get out. Just stay down. Just stay down. It was nice knowing you. You're not going to make it. Stay down there. Don't do it. Don't try to jump out of there. And you know what he did? He saw everyone yelling at him and he started jumping. He was like, you know what? I can do this. I can do this. He started jumping and jumping and jumping and still nothing was happening. And then he got ready. He got himself ready and he said, I can do this. I can do this. And he took the biggest jump of his life and he shot up out of that hole. And all the frogs, what do you think they did? Whoa, he did it. They all started looking at him. You know what the frog said? 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 Everyone's here. How did he do it? How did he do it? How did he jump out of that hole? Did you guys Nobody's ever jumped that high. And he said, I'm so lucky that I have all these people cheering for me to make it out of the hole. Look at me, look at me. You know why? Because the frog was deaf. The frog was deaf. He couldn't hear them. He couldn't hear anything they were saying. So he thought that they were all cheering him on. They're like, you can do it, frog. You can do it. You can do it. Jump, jump, jump. And he doesn't know that all of them were like so negative, telling him not to do it. So let me tell you something. You got to be deaf to everybody that's negative. You got to be that deaf little frog and not hear anything negative that anybody else has to say, because you know your worth. You are the you are the $1 million bill. Okay. I don't even know if they make these, but you're $1 million bill. Stop listening to everything negative that people tell you. Stop acting like they're right and that you're a dollar bill. You're not. Start acting like it. Don't let anybody tell you anything negative. You have to know where you're going. You have to tell yourself to jump when it's time to jump. You have to be your own hero or your own shero. Nobody else is coming to save you. Nobody else can give you customers. Nobody else can give you business partners. Nobody else can do that but you. Nobody's going to change your finances but you. People are waiting on the government to run their household. Why? Why are you relying on the White House? Rely on your house. You do it. You have everything it takes. And that's one thing that Mr. Thomas made me realize this weekend. The only thing stopping me is who? Me. The only thing stopping you is who? You. You have everything. You are 100. You are listening to the negative people. Be the deaf frog and just jump. Just jump. You have to jump. Say jump with me. Jump, jump. Like that song, jump, jump. Yeah, I know. So Perla's like, whoop, whoop. But think about it. You just got to jump. And guess what? Once you jump, then you can open your parachute. Because if you stay on the plane, you can't open a parachute on the plane. I mean, you can, but that's like pointless. So why would you be standing on a plane, opening your parachute inside the plane? That doesn't make sense. You have to jump. And guess what? You're going to be able to jump because you have the courage. You got to be like that frog and jump. How many of you believe that you're 100? How many of you right now are sitting slouched over and you need to be sitting up straight? Put your shoulders back, act like a boss, because guess what? You're your own boss. I don't even know, Mr. Lewis, can you please type how many days we have left in the year? We only have this many days left in the year. We're almost done with 2020. Have you been listening to all of those people and not treating yourself? 47 days. Thank you, Mr. Professor. 47 days left in this year. Are they going to be good ones, good days, or are they going to be days that you're going to regret next year? Think about it. Are you going to regret it, or are you going to look back and say, you know what? I did it. I did it. Because guess what? Each of us are writing a story. Every single one of you right now are writing a story. Think about it. How many people in magazines, how many people that get promoted to SVP, how many people do we look at and we're just like, oh my God, that's so amazing? Because of their story. Each and every, listen to me. Listen to me. Each and every one of you right now, whether you know it or not, whether you're focusing on it or not, whether you think about it or not. Mr. Ransom, look at me. You are writing a story. You are writing your SVP speech as we go. All of this right here, this whole part of 2020 since March, you are writing a story. Now think about it. Is it going to be a good one? Because it's all about the journey. We know it's all about the journey. It's not about the destination, because guess what? That's like going hiking, okay? Just go with me for a second. I know I'm over a little bit, but go with me. So we go hiking. We have all of our gear with us, all of our stuff with it, and we run into like these big boulders we can't get over, these rocks, we almost slip and die and fall, all of this stuff. And then we finally get to the top of the mountain. We're finally at the top. And we were looking at the top the whole time, just admiring it and saying, oh my God, if I could just be at the top, can somebody just take a helicopter and just drop me off to the top? And then when you get to the top of the mountain, what happens? You look around and you see the view. And then you say to yourself, wow, I did it. This is so amazing. This view is so beautiful. And then guess what? You think to yourself after you're at the top, oh, now what? Now what? So understand the whole time it was about the journey. It was about your story. Nobody cares when you make it to the top. They care if you made it to the top, and they care about your story in between. What did you have to go through? How many people told you no? How many people told you it wasn't going to work? I still have text messages saved from the people in the very, 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 very beginning that tried talking me out of it because they wanted to save me from making a mistake. But get out of here. Get out of here. You're trying to take my future because I'm trying to surpass you and you want to just hold me down. No, no. You got to jump. It's about your journey. You are writing your story this very moment. You're going to look back and say, well, 2020 was the year that changed everything for me. I did so much personal development. I grew so much. I learned so much. I went through so much. I almost went nuts in the house. But you know what? I'm still here and I made it. Or are you going to look back and say, well, that was the waste. I don't know what the hell I did those past 8 months, but it wasn't work. What do you want to look back and say? Yes, it is totally a cocoon. What do you want to look back and say? What is your story going to say about you? Is it going to be a good one? Are you going to be inspiring? Are you going to be encouraging to everyone? Are you going to tell them about the parts where there were times that, you know what, I wasn't making a lot of money. You know what? Residual income takes time to build. And I had to move out of my house. I had to go to an apartment. But then guess what? I was able to get another house. I had to let go of my car. But then guess what? I got a new car and I got a better one. What's your story going to be like? What are the things that you're going through right now that are going to be your story? Document everything. Document your journey. Document your feelings. Write them down in your planner. Hey, this day I felt this way. This day I felt this way. This day I felt. How many of us are doing that? You know why? Think about it. Jim Rohn, do you know how expensive his journals are? Mr. Thomas asked about journals the other day. Document everything. People, like, his journals they're priceless. And he documented everything. Brian Tracy documented everything. You, the $100 bill, the $1 million bill, are going to start documenting everything, because guess what? Each and every one of you has exactly what it takes. And you know in the pit of your stomach that you do, there's just something holding you back. And I really, 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 really hope that this helps somebody break their barrier. You are what you say to yourself. You are what you listen to. You are what you consume. What are you consuming? Mrs. Driscoll said, the wolf that you feed grows. Are you feeding the black one or are you feeding the white one? And that's not a racist comment, but it's a good one and a bad one. What are you feeding? Which wolf are you feeding? Because that's what's going to grow. Every single one of you can either break down or break records. It's up to you. Which one are you going to do? So I love you guys. Thank you guys so much, Mr. Thomas. Thank you so much for having me on today. And I will pass it back to you.
I love today. This was amazing. Folks, which one, like Mr. Jonathan Drill said, which one you going to feed? Did you notice she got that off her notes? She regurgitated it. How many of you guys out there? I can't believe as I travel and do places and people call themselves a leader and don't have write anything down. Don't have a journal. Don't have a journal. It blows me away. And if I asked you what happened last week at this time, you couldn't tell me because you didn't write it down. 6 months ago, what did we talk about? You have no journal. Write it down. Jim Rohn, just write it down. And you wonder why you're still stuck in the same position. You got no notes, no journals. I got 4 pages today. How many you get? I don't care if you're RD. How many you get? And that's it. That's really bad if you're an RD, you didn't take notes. That's shameful. Anyway, write it down. I just want to say thank you, Miss Natasha Ismail. What a great, I love that frog story. I love that frog story. That was amazing. It was deaf. Man, I tell you what, I learned something. I learned a lot of things. That was powerful. So folks, you got to be deaf to the naysayers. You got to get out there and walk in faith and just go for it. Everybody just need to jump. I'm supposed she was talking about jumping. I was over here jumping right here in my seat, just jumping because why? It's so powerful. Some of you guys, you hear this, but you won't do nothing with it. You know, and last thing I want to say, be coachable. My God, just be coachable. And with that said, can we show her some love real quickly? Let's show her some love. Wow, come on, put something in the chat for her because she loves the chat. Give her some stuff in the chat. I love that frog story. Jump. Oh my goodness. Wow, wow, wow. And I can relate to the clothes with no brands on them. I remember everybody had leather jackets. I had a pleather jacket. You know what a pleather jacket is, Mr. Julian Lewis? Yeah, you know what pleather jacket is. It wasn't a leather jacket, it was pleather. I'm sitting there like, did she know I had a pleather jacket? And I used to sit down by the heater. They said put butter on it and maybe it'll get a wrinkle like a real jacket. Instead, it burnt. I can't even. Man, I'm going back in my childhood, just relating to these stories. That's fine. Ain't that funny, Mr. Casey? Mr. Carter? Ain't that funny? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So listen, I tell you what, this has been a great call today. What a great way to start off the Monday. We only have 2 more weeks and this month is gone. And we'll be, think about it, 46, 47 days and the year's gone. What happened to it? What are you going to do? Who you quit, listen, look, get deaf on some people and just get out there and do what you got to do. Stay focused, like she said. I love these notes. I'm going to go back and rewrite them again. Courage and confidence. Did you write that down first of all? It takes courage to turn your back to the crowd. It takes confidence. It takes confidence, Muhammad. Confidence, 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 Miss Pat Robinson. Confidence, Miss Luana. Confidence, confidence, Mr. Payon. Confidence. You know, to be a great band leader, a band leader knows he must turn his back to the what? Audience to conduct the band. Turn your back to the naysayers. You got to be like a postage stamp. You know what a postage stamp does? It stick to the envelope till it gets to its destination. Man, you got to stick in there till you get your destination. What's the destination, Mr. Thomas? SVP. Yeah, stick in there. Well, listen, we want to thank you so much. Let me look at where's that beautiful email. Oh, and I would like to also give a shout out to her husband who's on the call. He snuck out and got on here too, Mr. Hussein Ismail, sir. Good morning to you as well. Thank you so much. Had a great weekend with you. Had a great what's it called? After the party on Friday night. Stayed up to midnight and enjoyed your company as always, sir. Thank you so much. Hey, folks, we want to thank everybody out there. But remember, it's Monday. What are you going to be doing the rest of the day to build your business? How many customers and IBOs you're going to get? How many calls you're going to make? And don't forget, tonight at 6 o'clock, right back here, is a power hour. That's right. The power hour. Bring your names and numbers. They're going to make some calls to get people in front of the information, send some messages out. But be back here tonight at 6 o'clock p.m. Yeah, we'll find out who the real leaders are. They'll get back on here. Some people, I had it to go do. No, you didn't. You just make an excuse. But anyway, we love you. So once again, Miss Natasha Ismail, we want to thank you for a dynamite call today. Miss Giles, the Regional Director, Vice President out there, thank you so much. All the RDs, thank you for joining the call. Rose Guerrero, Chris King, I know you got on a little bit later, but thank you so much. All of you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And wow, if I'm out in the back, I would have dropped the mic, but it's up in my office. So I just want to say thank you for another dynamite call. And I love these stories. I love the stories. Stories stick to me so well. I love stories. And with that, go out there and do something to change your life and change other people's lives. Remember, 45, 46, 47 days, the year is gone. Mr. Sweeney, thank you so much for your comment about breakfast on Saturday morning for I left Fresno. Thank you, sir. And you and your lovely wife are going to be great in this business. Thank you all. Have a blessed day. We'll see you tonight at 6 o'clock p.m. with your list and your phone to make some calls, get people in the business, set appointments up, and send videos out. Take care. God bless.